Gee. Okay, so here we go. I want to give a big thanks to all of the people involved in our Guitar Cloud Symposium weekend. We just did our 4-day weekend, and inspiration was just to be had by all. I was inspired by my students. I was inspired by my fellow instructors. So it was just, I'm inspired. So thank you. Thank you to all of our sponsors from that event. And we currently have a new deep dive coming up in March, which is soon, a month from now. So, yeah, thanks to all of our sponsors who will be sponsoring the deep dive as well. That deep dive is going to be on getting the good gigs. What you need to do to prepare to really be on your game. And Jennifer she's just gotten a stellar group of instructors. I won't be teaching on that one, but you're going to be really, really thrilled with the folks she's got going on for that. So that's a 1-day, and it's all that info is on the website, Guitar Cloud Symposium. Thank you so much. Regarding sponsors who really make musicians like myself be able to continue doing what we do. Sponsors are such a big part of just making it all work. So I want to give a big shout out to Gold Tone Music. And if you want to win this, and I think you do because it's one of the coolest freaking things, it's a bass. It plugs in. It's got a pickup. It's crazy. It's teeny. It's got these big fat rubber strings. All you got to do is share. You got to share this now or while we're live. You have a little bit of time. Share it anytime while we're live. Share it with as many people as you want to. Every time you do share, I will write your name down another time. So if you share 3 times today, your name will be entered 3 times. And as we know, last time around when we gave away the Luna signature, Vicki Genfan signature guitar, we had some people sharing 8, 9, 10, 13 times. You have to share to real people, real Facebook pages at any rate. Anyway, we'll do a drawing in a couple of months, and this is going to go to somebody if I let it go. Isn't it cool? Anyway, enough of that. I could play this all day. It's really cool. It's the M bass from Gold Tone. I also have a Mando tar from Gold Tone, and they make all these really cool hybrid-y kind of instruments. They also make normal, not hybrid instruments. So check out Gold Tone, and thank you to them. So here's just a quick photo of our deep dive, a great graphic of the upcomings. We've got Jennifer Batten, Kat Tyson. I can't even read all those words without my glasses, but there's our instructors getting the good gigs. Peter Thorne. You can read better than me, so that's our deep dive coming up. Okay, we are coming to the end of February, which is the end of Black History Month. Every time I say Black History Month, I feel strange because, Black history should be an ongoing thing. And we're getting there. I hope we're getting there. So I want to read a little bit about, why Black History Month ended up being in February. So while many rightfully give side-eye to the fact that there are only 28 or sometimes 29 days to celebrate the achievements of Black people versus a full 30 or 31, or versus like 365 days, which is still not enough. There's more behind the reason Black History Month falls in February. For starters, Black History Month wouldn't exist in the way that it does now without the work of Carter G. Woodson, Ph.D. The Harvard grad, activist, and Black history scholar attended the 50th anniversary celebration of the emancipation of slaves in 1912, which was held in Illinois, writes Darrell Scott, Ph.D., a professor of history at Howard University. More than 6,000 people showed up to view exhibits about the things Black people had achieved since the Emancipation Proclamation. Those crowds and the event itself inspired Woodson to start an organization dedicated to the scientific study of Black life and history, which later became the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, or ASALH. He was committed in every way possible to uplifting the achievements of Black people, says Callie Gross, Ph.D., professor of African American Studies at Emory University and author of A Black Woman's History of the United States. He believed, rightfully so, that this was related to ongoing Black liberation struggles. Additionally, he planned to publish his organization's findings in the Journal of Negro History, which he also founded in hopes that other historians might popularize ASALH's work. As part of his efforts to get Black history into the minds of Americans and people all over the world, he kicked off the first ever Negro History and Literature Week in 1926, which later became Negro Achievement Week, writes Scott. Woodson chose the second week of February for the celebration of Black life because it fell on the birthday of Abe Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, two very important figures in Black history. He hoped that doing so would encourage teachers and historians to participate, since they were likely already in on the celebrations of Lincoln and Douglass. Still, Woodson wanted to ensure that Americans paid attention to more than just big names like just those two. He wanted people to get curious and learn about all parts of Black life. His whole kind of bent was about freeing Black people's minds and throwing off negative notions about what Black people had done and accomplished, said Gross. Because of his work, many progressive schools began adding more curriculum about Black history, and Black history clubs began popping up across the U.S. Woodson hoped that this weekend-long celebration would eventually turn into an ever-present appreciation and education about Black life, not just a week of acknowledgement. He died in 1950, but the popularity of the idea spread. In February 1976, President Gerald Ford said, in his message on the observance of Black History Month, we can seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. Since then, every U.S. president has formally recognized and honored the celebration. So, I didn't know that. Maybe you didn't know that, and that's why it falls in February. So cool. I did leave out something kind of important last week, and I apologize for that, but I'm just going to do a quick mention now, and I'm going to ask you to tell us in the chat if you've, if you've got a favorite picture of Mars's Perseverance rover. So, on the day of our show last week, Perseverance actually landed on Mars, and I didn't say anything. So these are some pictures that I have culled that I think are really amazing. And I gave you a link to I gave you a link to the video that NASA has put out of the actual, it's like three minutes and something seconds of the actual landing. And I don't know. I watched it and I started to tear up. It's just, I don't like the idea that maybe we'll inhabit another planet and destroy it, but just thinking about that we actually, look at that. Look at that. That's where that rover is. That's Perseverance taking pictures of Mars. It's just mind-blowing, really. It's just mind-blowing. And there's the parachute. I mean, if you haven't watched the video, watch the video. It's crazy. And, wow. So I'm going to keep up with what it's doing. I know it's trying to find past life, being in that crater where they think there was all that water. So fascinating. Okay. I think it's time for weather. For weather here on the planet Earth. And so we're going to bring on our favorite weather woman. Kelly Bedwell, where are you?
Hello.
Hello.
This is Kelly Bedwell reporting to you from WKFU, your Brooklyn weather station. We're here at Grand Army Plaza in Brooklyn. That's my neighborhood.
Fabulous.
See behind me the monument to the Union soldiers in the Civil War. And that's been recently cleaned up. I think when they had the 150th anniversary of the ending of this horrible war. 150 years, that's really nothing compared to how long there's been life on Earth. I mean, weren't the dinosaurs here like 100 million years ago? I mean, can you imagine 100 million years ago? Or even that dinosaurs once walked this Earth? Anyway, not exactly what I was going to talk about. What I want to talk about is what happens after it snows and several days pass here in New York. The snow is disgusting. Oh, and I just happen to have some to show you, and you're going to get a nice close-up. Can you see it? That's gross. Now, what is that, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you what I think it is. All right, I didn't study up on it. This is caused by, guess what, our favorite subject, carbon emissions. This has to be dirt from the cars. Where else does dirt come from in New York? There's hardly any dirt spots here. It's all pavement and buildings. Although I will say that the beautiful Prospect Park is right over there. I mean, I live in a great neighborhood. Where is it? The Central Library. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it, there's a Black Lives Matter sign smack dab in the middle. And, there's a whole bunch of pigeons up there. That's our state bird, pigeons. So anyway, I wanted to go look and see if I could find some crocuses, but I would basically have to take my life in my hands and try to run across this circle where, this is New York. Everybody's in a fake hurry. So that's basically it. My report. I didn't watch the Perseverance landing because I was too basically upset about how ironic it was that we were landing a robot or whatever that was on Mars, and yet people in Texas were suffering. No heat, no water. The roads weren't plowed. And how could you have access to food? And people are still without water and suffering, even though it was 80 degrees there yesterday. I saw that weather is crazy. And that all has to do with climate change. And it's real. It's going to happen. And in 10 years, we're going to notice what's going on. In fact, things are already going on. We're noticing them. Fires, horrible, worst hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, and snow in Texas, inches and inches. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's it. That's my rant for today. Anything else, Vicki?
No.
Let's get that snow in the background again. Anyway, this is Kelly Bedwell reporting to you from WKFU. Oh, yeah, and it's a beautiful day. I know I'm supposed to report the weather, but I almost never do. New York weather sometimes. All right.
Thank you. Remember, everybody, you could go to Kelly's website, WKFUBrooklynWeatherStation.com or KellyBedwell.com, right? They both go there, right?
Yes.
And what will
Kay.
they find there?
Videos of my weather reports that I've been doing for over 5 years, the real ones, and some photos of me through the years. And I do have a little blog, which I kind of forgot about, but maybe it's time I write a story. I forgot about it. I've had it for 2 weeks.
And what about your music?
Oh, yes. And I did record an album in 2012 called KBR, the Kelly Bedwell record.
It's great.
Produced by our friend KJ Denner. And it's supposed to like jazz standards and one of KJ's songs. And it's pretty good.
Awesome. When are you going to sing for us on the show?
Pretty soon.
Good.
Soon, which in Kelly time is like 2 years from now. All right.
All right, girl.
I will say that I'm going to sing Georgia on My Mind on Facebook Live, 5 p.m. Sunday, dedicating it to the state of Georgia, because the two Democrats, something I never thought would happen, were elected to the Senate. So I got to do it. And thank you for helping me with that, Vicki, because I will put that stuff off. Anyway, that's it. See you next week.
See ya. So that's her Facebook page, Kelly Bedwell on Facebook. She'll be doing that. You want to see it. You do. 5 o'clock Sunday. All right. I know that sometimes I tell you about things that I think are useful, resources like Qigong and meditation and Tara Brach's meditation work and Lee Holden's Qigong work. I've mentioned those things many times, which I have found to be really, really great resources for just chilling and coping and feeling more centered and being able to focus more and grow my compassionate self and all that stuff. And there's somebody I want to tell you about today. His name is David Kessler. And for those of you that have heard of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, she was kind of a pioneer in the death and dying world or subject. She wrote a very famous book called On Death and Dying. And she talked about 5 stages of grief, and she did a lot of workshops. I actually was in one of her workshops many years ago. And On Death and Dying, it was called. Yeah, whoosh. And David has worked with Elizabeth over the years, not currently, she's not with us, but David did much work with Elizabeth, and at a certain point, he kind of, I guess, did his own thing, and based on his own experiences, a little bit about him, he's co-authored 2 books with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, including On Grief and Grieving, and he wrote a book, The Needs of Dying, received praise from Mother Teresa. But here's David's history and why he's ended up working in this work. He was really young when he witnessed a mass shooting while his mother simultaneously lay dying in a hospital. 2 events that propelled him toward what has become his life's purpose. He facilitates talks, workshops, and retreats for those experiencing grief, as well as teaching physicians, nurses, counselors, police, first responders about end of life and trauma. However, despite his vast knowledge on grief up until that point, which you would think would be plenty, his life was turned upside down by the sudden death of his 21-year-old son. It inspired him to write his newest book, Finding Meaning. And I heard a podcast with him a couple months back, was really blown away. I really, really appreciated just his angle. And he calls Finding Meaning the 6th step of grief, or the 6th stage. You know, what we kind of do after acceptance, finding meaning in our lives without our loved ones, because of having had them in our lives. It's really, really interesting. And there's an organization called Commune, COMMUNE.com, and they currently are offering a 10-day course. It's a video course with David. And they're giving you 5 days free. So you can sample it for 5 days. And then if you want to continue with it, you have to pay for it. I don't know what it costs. But it's just a way to jump into meeting him and his work. I think the book, which I haven't read yet, I think the book is probably really useful too. And, God, we have reached over 500,000 deaths from COVID-19 in a year. And so either you yourself are dealing with the loss of somebody close in your life from COVID. Obviously, people die outside of COVID too, but it's such a huge number. Or we all know somebody who's lost somebody. So it was just in my consciousness today. I wanted to pass along that as a resource. There'll be a link in our links to David's work. All right. This is a story from Berlin. This is my last story before we bring on Patrick. And I love this story. It's about toxic statues. So here we go. The Black Lives Matter and anti-racism movements have sparked angry debate over the public space given to monuments of figures from the colonial past, with some statues toppled or locked away. But a Berlin museum is showing a more thoughtful approach to the issue by putting contentious statues and symbols on display with the aim of reconsidering history. The Citadel Museum in the suburb of Spandau includes busts of militaristic Prussian rulers, Nazi-era statues, and a 3.5-ton granite head of Lenin, part of a giant statue unveiled in 1970 in Friedrichshain. Friedrichshain, that's hard with all those R's, a district of East Berlin at the time. The goal is to make history tangible, says the museum's director, Erte Evert. Visitors are allowed to touch the exhibits, which are mounted at eye level rather than being put on pedestals. I like that. It's an opportunity to not forget this history, to not let it disappear, and instead we can show that there is anger, sadness, and even violence. Evert says the aim is to contextualize the past. In the US and the UK, there are discussions about what to do with dismantled memorials. I've heard that some of them are in closets, hidden away. Here, we have already found a possible solution for memorials that are, so to speak, toxic. We put them here so people can still be concerned about them, but in a different context. So I thought that was an interesting story. I met Patrick Landeza at Swannanoa Gathering, as I said earlier. Swannanoa is a place where we have like tons and tons of students who want to play guitar and hang out and jam, and there's 17 or 18 or 19 guitar teachers, and you take classes during the day, and you drink beer and go to different jam tents and jam all night long. And so Swannanoa is a really fun place. Obviously, we didn't have Swannanoa last year, and this coming year it's going to be virtual, is what I'm told. It's going to be an online programming, but it should be still amazing. But one of the things that won't happen this year because it's online is that you won't experience, if you're a student or faculty there, the famous luau that Patrick puts on every year for, God, I don't know how many years he's been doing it. At our last meal, on Friday night, Patrick will put together a luau, adorning everyone with leis and just pouring on the Hawaiian culture. It's become a really beautiful part of Swannanoa Gathering. I met Patrick as a guitar teacher, as a Slacky guitar teacher, and a really crazy fun guy to hang out with. And I didn't know that he did a million other things, cooking, making jewelry. In fact, every time I see a post or something, a social media something, it's like something else that Patrick has done or doing, writing books, this, that. I mean, there's just so many things that, it's endless with him. He has endless energy. I don't know how he does any of this, but what he's done for Hawaiian culture and just keeping it alive in the Bay Area and keeping it alive at Swannanoa for us has been a wonderful, wonderful addition to my life, and I'm sure to many people's lives. So let's bring that boy on. Come on, Patrick. Where you at? Come along. Oh, jelly. Like you make your own jelly. What jams? What is going on with you?
You're just too kind, Vicki. Thank you so much. You know why I'm so successful?
Why?
Because I have 20 tays.
You have 20 tays?
20 tays.
How did you get 20 tays?
You gotta delegate, and I know with Tay is right there with you by your side.
Right over there.
I got 20 of them.
For real, so you have 20? Oh my
maybe
God.
15.
I'm so jealous.
But it takes a village, doesn't it? Though
it takes a village.
So I'm just so happy to see y'all. I'm so excited to be here with you, and I love your show, Vicki. That's brilliant. Vicki, girl, I remember, back in the day, you're like, how do you do this? We were just recording stuff.
Yeah.
And now you got a weather person. Big ice cream cone and everything. I love it. That's why you do it.
Yeah, but I don't even have to leave my house, Patrick. It's so easy.
Well, that's the story of our lives right now. Yeah. But thanks to you, we're able to see our friends and all throughout the country and allowing them to enjoy wonderful music. So, big thank you to you for allowing us to share the aloha with everybody.
Yeah, well, thank you. You're welcome. I didn't even mention the fact that you're a full-time teacher.
I am. I am between classes right now, so this is actually kind of perfect. My wife was asking me, "What are you doing?" And I go, "I'm going to have a show in New York. I mean, in the East Coast today. I have a show in the East Coast, and I just got finished sound checking." So it was like, "What?" I go, "Yeah, get my green room ready."
And you're
Oh.
raising how many children? 6?
I got girl.
8? 20?
I got 5. Easy, easy.
Oh,
I got 5.
maybe I know something you don't know yet.
That's my wife's listening, so I got to be careful.
5 beautiful children.
Yeah, 5.
man.
When I met you, I think I had 1.
I think so.
Or 2. Yeah, so it's been a while. I have I have one graduating from high school right now.
Wow.
And I have a sophomore in high school as well too. And then sixth grader, second grader, and a preschooler.
Wow. How many girls?
1 girl.
I know, she's so precious.
I'm gonna be losing the rest of my hair after all of that.
So much of what you do is about keeping Hawaiian culture alive and just in front of people via music, via food, via so many things you do. But you were brought up on the island of Berkeley, as you like to say, right?
Absolutely. I was born and raised in Berkeley, California.
Yeah.
Extremely proud. I mean, but for a while though, Vicki, I had identity issues because when you're from Berkeley, you're a melting pot. Okay, you're surrounded by cultures, but I was predominantly surrounded by Latinos and Black folks, and I swear to God, I thought I was Black for a while. I mean, I just or Mexican, and I loved it, and but I was never within that melting pot. I was never ever able to find that one ingredient that was me.
Yeah. And so how did you connect with Hawaii and then the guitar and studying with the masters like you did?
Because my mom would always sing to me, and we're surrounded by Hawaiian music all throughout my life, and while I was growing up. And so she'd sing to me these beautiful songs from her home. Then she would tell us stories. Now, my mother comes from a very small place called Ho'olehua on a very small island called Molokai. And so she would talk to us about growing up on Molokai and things that she had learned and her parents passed down to her. She passed down to us. So, I don't, as a 4th grader, I'm like, how relevant is, what seaweeds go with what type of fish for the poke, or what to do when the night marchers come for you, all these things that were very helpful and useful to her growing up on the islands, or especially Molokai. But it's not relevant for me. I mean, in my hood, it's like, how can you avoid the drug dealers, or which gang is what and who are you friendly with? So you see what I mean? That was where the culture was. But it wasn't until I was in high school, it's when it's like an epiphany, like, holy mackerel, I want to play Slacky guitar. It was like very random, and it was random. And thank you to all that music that I listened to when I was younger. Believe it or not, Vicki, I was able to meet a lot of those people that I listened to.
Wow.
And put faces to the music, and then later on study with them, or their children. So legendary Gabby Pahinui, although he had passed by the time I was playing guitar, I was able to study, travel, and consider my second dad, Cyril Pahinui. And then also the late great Dennis Kamakahi was part of the Sons of Hawaii that I listened to on those awesome albums back when I was little, traveled, mentored under, and he was these 2 people have been very important within my own life. And the reason why, Vicki, I went to Swannanoa is because those 2 didn't want to go, and so they said,
"Oh wow, really?" Yeah. They had asked them.
Yeah, and they said to send the boy, because they didn't want to go far. Well, they weren't teachers; they're old school musicians, right? So how we're teachers, or if you're not a teacher, you have to formulate, and you have to come up with a plan. They at that time they were more within the Hawaiian tradition of na ho'olohe ho'apili, to watch, listen, imitate. That was them. But Uncle Cyril, he knew. He was like, you got to give them paper, because if they're paying $30 for a lesson, you got to give them paper. Boy, go make copies. You got to give them paper. And I'm looking, and I'm like, Uncle, you got this from the internet. Like, you got to give them paper. So so I brought a new approach to the way of I always felt that teaching Slacky or teaching was going to be the future, and I think I predicted correctly. So that's how I got to Swannanoa.
I didn't know that. Know that. Yeah, and you have become a beloved teacher, and I think part of it is because of you and what you bring, but I have to say part of it is the chocolate.
You like the chocolate, huh?
Well, that everybody likes the chocolate.
So every year I get chocolate because I'm always usually coming in from Hawaii, and so I bring in all this Hawaiian chocolate and I give it to everybody. I give coffee. I got all kind of stuff. But at first, though, it was because I didn't want to leave. Like my first years, I wanted to come back. You got to be invited to be at Swannanoa. You can't just go, I want to be at Swannanoa.
Right.
And after the third year or fourth year, they put the luau in the catalog. And Larry had said, son, they got the luau in the catalog. You got tenure.
That's right. Whoa, that's crazy. Now I want you to play something. So play something, then I'll ask you some more questions because I've just got more questions for you. But
I'll play a Slacky piece. It's called Ku'upete.
Oh, wait.
And go for it.
What is Slacky for those that may not know?
Girl,
come on.
The Slacky is the guitar was introduced to the Hawaiians by the Mexican vaquero. There you go. So the Mexican vaqueros gave us this guitar, and the reason why it made it to Hawaii is in 1830 the Hawaiians received a gift of cattle from General Vancouver, and so the Hawaiians, the king at the time, really enjoyed this cattle. It's like, wow, he put a kapu on the cattle, which means do not touch. So of course, what's going to happen is that it's going to multiply and multiply. Well, Hawaiians, they couldn't handle the cattle, so they went over to Alta California, Mexico, okay, the Monterey area as we know it today, and they brought over vaqueros. And the vaqueros came over to Hawaii and taught the Hawaiians how to rope and ride, okay? And at night, the vaqueros would play the guitar. And the Hawaiians, they liked that. They're like, what is this, so fascinated with the guitar. Now, this predates ukulele. So when it came time for the vaqueros to leave, they left their guitars with their newfound friends. Now, the only problem is that the Hawaiians realized that the vaqueros never taught them to tune the guitar. So by loosening or slacking the strings to match their voice, they came up with the open tunings. So right now I'm in an open G. And Vicki is well aware of open tunings, and so of course that's the story. But we all know that the vaqueros in the particular area that they came from used open tunings as well too. So there's I like the first story better, but there's always the kauna or the other meaning, hidden meanings behind that. So that's the story of Slacky, folks. Although I'm not in class right now, you will be getting a quiz later on this morning. Song called Ku'upete. It's actually a song that's sung, but I made a little instrumental version of it. And how the song Ku'upete is beloved Pete. And for the composer, Pete was the donkey. he was a donkey. He was her pet donkey. So I love it. It's called Ku'upete, like this. of it, Pete. Ku'upete. All right.
Hey there.
Hey.
My little Tay, she's listening to the broadcast, not to the fact that. So you
Don't
weren't
worry.
done yet, so she didn't unmute me. Oh,
If you need one of my tays, let me know.
we need one of your Tays to be Tay's assistant. She needs 2 more, she says. We got put in an order for 2.
I got plenty.
That was beautiful. Thank
you.
I know you've won an award for one of your, at least one of your CDs, right?
Yeah, I have I'm the only my bag is I am the only mainland artist, and at the time it was 34 years, and I'm still the very first to win what is called a Na Hoku Hanohano, and that is Hawaiian music's highest honor.
Wow.
It's considered the equivalent to a Grammy, and it's nearly impossible for a mainland guy. It is impossible actually,
But it's not.
Well, when people tell me I can't do stuff, like you can't start a catering business and you can't do this, or you're not Hawaiian because you're from the mainland, and you don't be bitter about it. My mother always would tell me to forgive them. They don't know who you are and where you're from, but to continue to use your actions as your words. And so, a lot of times I just suck it up. But by winning that award, I can't tell you how much pride I brought to my mom, and also to my community, because it was the community that helped raise me,
Yeah.
So it was the Na Hoku Hanohano, which the award, and it's all good. You win it and you move on.
Yeah, that's awesome, though. I'm so pleased for you and proud of you for that. We got to talk about food for a minute. So you got a catering business. So what is poke? Is that how you say it? Poke?
Poke.
Poke.
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, you're so handsome. Poke is raw fish, and it is with some sauce or whatever else you want to put. We can use raw fish, but there's other types of poke. It's a wonderful Hawaiian appetizer that consists of mainly raw fish. I use ahi, I use salmon, and in Hawaii you can just go to any supermarket and buy it by the pound. Now they have poke bowls where I call them like poke salads, where you put all kind of stuff on it, which is fine. But I offer it by the pound, and the thing about it is that we deliver, and
Wow.
I'm 100% delivery. Then after poke, I figured, okay, well, I make other things too as well. But the real reason why I started the poke business was because my personal fish bill was getting too expensive. and that's it. It got too guys. So because to help, so Aloha Seafood, who is a fish distributor, decided to go and use a home model because they were suffering, right? The restaurants were suffering.
Yeah.
So they went to a home model. Girl, I started ordering fish like no tomorrow. I mean, because I can get quality fish ordered from the house, but my bill was too expensive. So I decided to hustle. So what if I hustled, a pound or two, and I delivered it? And then it started from there. The great thing was Aloha Seafood had said that they were able to bring back people,
During the pandemic.
because partly because of my hustle.
Yeah.
And hey, I was able to supply jobs to my family and to friends that needed help.
Yeah.
Rock and roll, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, you're so great. You're so endlessly energetic. I love it.
Get that bread.
Look at that
Man.
bread.
Yeah.
And you do pop-ups sometimes, right? Where you do pop-ups?
Because I got to pay rent,
Yeah.
my kitchen. So I'm moving to a new kitchen, and they ask me, what do you make? And I go, I make poke, and then I make, chicken. So how often you make chicken? I go, whenever I need money. So I'm moving to a new kitchen. I need money. So y'all got to buy my chicken. So, and she was busting up because I want you here. I want to be here because my other kitchen is too small. So, I'm like, so that's the hustle, right? But I'm legal.
Yeah.
I'm legal. I used to be illegal until
Yep.
people started turning me in. And
Yep.
So you got to go legal. And
There you
so
go.
I'm girl.
You're
I got
legal. Hey.
Get a pedigree. I'm bona fide.
Play us another song, baby.
I'm bona fide.
Y'all have to check out his food. You do if you're on the east, if you're in the San Francisco area, right?
San Francisco area,
Yep.
Bay Area.
Yeah.
I'm here in the Bay. Yeah.
You gotta check him out. You gotta check.
Yeah, and shout out to Taya. If Taya's listening, because I know
Taya.
sometimes I love that guy, and
He might be listening.
yeah, if he's listening, shout out to him because I watch his videos too.
Cool.
Here's a cool little song by my teacher, the late great Raymond Kane. Love him to pieces. He was old school, and a song that talks about the beautiful flowers of Hawaii, and a song called Vai Oke Ani Ani. Aloha, hey navaula, aloha ku'upua tubarosila, he moani ke la I ka polila, uhe uhine ka vai o yapua. Hey aloha, hey navaula, aloha ku'upua tubarosila, he moani ke la I ka polila, uhe uhine ka vai o yapua. Vai kuni vai ihu I o ke ani ani ia I ka vai ihu I o ke ani ani. He moani ke la I ka polila, uhe uhine ka vai o yapua. Ia kuni ka vai kuni vai ihu I o ke ani ani. Ia I ka vai ihu I o ke ani ani. Kuni vai ihu I o ke ani ani. Ia I ka vai ihu I o ke ani ani. Ia I ka vai ihu I o ke ani ani. Vai ihu I o ke ani ani. Vai ihu I o ke ani ani. Song called Vai.
Nice.
Okay, Annie. All right.
I am.
Yeah.
Can you hear me still? Can you hear me?
Oh, of course.
Yes. Love that.
I love it. And we dedicate that to all of our friends at Swannanoa, and hopefully they're listening. And it's we miss you. We miss you, Swannanoa. We miss
really
everybody there. We miss all you folks at Warren Wilson. We miss everybody. So.
Yep, we do. We do. What about me playing along with you on something?
I would love that. I would be honored. I would love that.
You know you won't hear me though. I'll be muted, but
it's
I hear me later.
I hear you in my head.
You hear my heart.
There you go. This is I just love this song to pieces, and this is one of those songs that my mother would sing to me. I and these are the three songs that I sing are my favorite songs. I have a new CD that's out, and it's called Far Away, and this is I put this on my album, and I got my mother singing. And Mom, yeah, but she lives at a assisted living, and so we had set up something for her, right there. And it was just in that moment where, it was very key, and we miss, I miss her. I haven't been able to. I can see her through the window, but I really haven't been able to sit down and talk to her and hold her hand, and but when we get through this, right? But through music, music is so healing. I go there with my guitar, and although it's through the window, and you see her face lights up.
I bet it does.
This is a song that she would sing to me, and it's about 10 o'clock in the morning here, and it's early, And it's one of those things that this is really going to start my personal day. But wherever you are, I hope that it makes your day. A song called Kalai o Kaena. It talks about a Hawaiian boy and a fair-skinned girl that would walk across the street with her pretty feet, and her mother owned a candy store. It goes a little like this. And Vicki, I'm very privileged that you be sharing this song with me. So
Me too.
a song called Kalai o Kaena. Kalai o Kaena, e ui ai ka ua. Koloha vela vela, koloha ya unei, me o e ho'i au, e ho'i po ai. Hoa pili o kaina, malini. Eyes so blue, eyes so blue, love so true, love so true. Pretty feet, across the street, across the street. Her name is Nova, and I adore her. Her mother keeps a little candy store. Take one, Vicki. Sing with me, Vicki. Eyes so blue,
Eyes so blue,
love so true,
love so true.
pretty feet,
Pretty feet
across the street.
across the street.
Her name is Nova, and I adore her. Her mother keeps a little candy store. Before the pandemic, I would go and visit mom, and I would sing to her, and she would sing back, and we'd have so much fun. And while I'm there, all the other residents would circle around us, and you see everybody with these smiling faces. So, you figure, why not just sing for mom? Let's sing for everybody. And after our little mini concerts, they would go by and they'd pass by and they would say, "Thank you, Patrick." And they'd go to my mom, "Oh, you're so lucky, Francis." And all these happy faces. And so one day after our little concert, my mom says, "Come. Come." And I kneel down to her, and she said with her soft voice, "This is why Mama sang to you." from my mother, Kalai Ope.
Beautiful, Patrick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh man, this has been fun. I really, you have a great what a great idea.
Thank
You know,
you. Well,
An afternoon program. Give me a break. That's great. That's great.
yeah, I mean, we just wanted to, when the pandemic started and things were crazy, you know, I just wanted to share some good stuff with people too. And, you know, get away from all the crisis mode stuff. And it just turned out to be really great. And then bringing in people that I know and love, and even some musicians I don't know yet. It's been a great, great way for me to feel like I'm connected to the world somehow of music and fellow colleagues. And, you know, it's just been really great and so great to get a little bit of time with you.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much, Tay. I love the both of you. I think that we really kicked it off some 13, 12 years ago. Gosh,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
you know, but you were always extremely talented then and even more monstrous now. So your style is very unique. Yeah,
We love you
so
too, Tay says.
yeah, so really appreciate it. And the folks in Mount Airy, when I was there to record my hopefully one day bluegrass slackgrass album
Ah, yes.
in Mount Airy, North Carolina, Virginia,
Yeah, North Carolina.
North Carolina, and Mount Airy, you guys, is known for what?
Well,
Mayberry.
home of Mayberry, really. Mayberry and
Mayberry.
Aunt Bee's. You went to Aunt Bee's Diner, didn't you?
We sure did.
Oh, I'm not even allowed to go in there. There's so much food I can't eat, but
I know.
I heard about it.
We really appreciate you coming in with us.
All right, you be good, and people check out not only Patrick's music, but check out his food and his pop-ups and his delivery service. And I'm already salivating all over all of it.
We'll put some ghee in there. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
Gee, we love you. We love you.
Love you guys. Take care. Have a
All right.
wonderful day.
Thank
Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank
Aloha.
you, Patrick. Aloha. There's our Patrick. So check him out further. And we're going to end with a quote. And it's a quote from David Kessler, who I mentioned earlier. Not meant to be morbid in any way, but rather uplifting. And that quote is, "Life gives us pain. Our job is to experience it when it gets handed to us. Avoidance of loss has a cost. Having pain seen and seeing the pain in others is a wonderful medicine for both body and soul." And with that, I leave you until next week. Please let us know you were here, and you got about 10 seconds to share. We'll see you next week. Thanks for everything. Thanks for being here and supporting live music. Thanks, Tay. Making stuff up in an open tuning. Gotta write a theme song. 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 Gotta write a theme, funky theme song. Gotta write a theme song.